3650 squad, we square jobs, make a check gains. The secret sauce, 3650 squad, we square jobs, make a check gains. The secret sauce, get out your ledger, and pull the contract, stake for 10 years, that's how we stack. See my post chain, see my Cadillac, this is the jobber. We don't know where it's at. 3650, 3650. 3650, 3650 squad, we square jobs, make a check gain. The secret sauce, 3650 squad, we square jobs, make a check gain. The secret sauce, 3650 squad, we square jobs, make a check gain. The secret sauce, 3650 squad, we square jobs, make a check gain. The secret sauce.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to EMP.Money. This is our live AMA. My name is AJ. I'm the team lead here, and we come to you every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. As usual, I'm joined by two fellow team members today. We are getting Jake more and more involved, so he's joining us again. We made a joke last week that we're gonna have him on more, and here he is. So, Jake, what's up, brother? We'll introduce you first.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me on again.
Good, brother. Yeah, man, no doubt. So, happy to have you here. We're going to do a live walkthrough of the Perps again and some bullish updates about perpetuals as well. But before we get to that, we also have another fellow team member and my original co-host with the most, LA. LA, how are you?
Don't go kicking me out of my spot now.
Yeah, you got some stiff competition.
Can't be replaced. Can't be replaced.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm good. Happy to be here with everyone. I hope you're all having a good day.
Yes, absolutely. So awesome. We will again have a lot to go over, but we're gonna get the Perps tutorial out of the way in the very beginning. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen as well. Jake, are you ready to showcase?
Yeah, we can go ahead.
All right, awesome, brother. I'll have you go ahead and boot it up, and then I will stream it over to YouTube, and we can get the party started. So while Jake is doing that, we've been, again, having a lot of great success. Even though Perps is still in beta, technically, we can kind of start there before, you go ahead and give people another quick overview. Jake, why don't you just give a little bit of background and a little more info on, the success we've had so far?
Yeah, absolutely. Only a couple weeks in the beta. We've done, in fact, we can pull that up real quick. We've done almost 3 million in volume with pretty much zero marketing. Just between some of our testers, up to over 1,000 trades in the last couple weeks. So, things are moving along very well.
Amazing. Yep. All right. Now we're good. We're streaming now. Yeah, man. I mean, again, you hit the nail on the head. We really haven't been doing a lot of marketing. We've done that on purpose. Again, nobody can market a product like we can, but we're really trying to get some organic growth, and really, make sure all the kinks are worked out. We've made some additional UI updates that people are loving. Again, and nothing major. Obviously, the infrastructure is there. We announced last week that we have a hack-in audit now complete as well. As you can see, the logo and link are in the top right there. So from a safety and technical perspective, the Perps are flawless. So now it's just a matter of polishing everything. And then we're going to start really ramping up the marketing over the next week and into the next month.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. We finally got a nice little sample size, and I'm ready to kind of start turning it up.
For sure, 100%.
For sure.
So
100%.
that being said, why don't we give a quick overview? Obviously, BTC is the big dog, but we now are able to utilize ETH as well. And then maybe just go over, again, high-level overview of how to participate in Perps.
Yeah, of course. So the first thing you have to kind of realize when you're getting into the Perps, right? Just from a high level, right? And this actually gives us a lot of flexibility, but it's not quite like trading an actual token, right? You're not buying and selling the token, right? So you'll notice up top here, here's this SLP vault, right? This just stands for Sparkswap liquidity pool, right? But you'll notice it's all just SDI, right? So essentially what this is all of your trades are going to be backed by SDI, right? And there's reasons behind this. One, because it's stable, right? We know that we can collateralize it with SDI, and it's always going to remain constant. It's not going to be it's not a volatile asset where we're going to potentially lose money, right? But also it gives us a lot of flexibility in the pairs that we can trade, right? So you'll notice here we have, for the beta version, we have BTC and ETH, right? Very soon we'll add PLS and Hex, and then from there, really anything we want we can add, which differs from like something like the GMX model, where you need to have the actual hard asset backed, right? So like if you wanted to trade BTC, right, there'd have to be enough BTC in the pool in order for you to open the trade against, right? And what this does by having this more fluid SDI backing, again, not only is it more flexible, we can add as many pairs as we want, but also the open interest, which we'll get to in a minute. The open interest, essentially the amount of liquidity on each different pool, right? So assuming we had 400,000, well, I think about what the SLP's value is right now. In theory, you'd have to split that up between 4 different pairs, right? And then each of those you can only trade 25% on each one. Whereas with being a stable backing, it can be spread out depending on the volume or the usage of the community, right? So if someone wants to trade heavy on ETH one day, it's still the same pool that's backing those trades. So that's kind of the high level overview, just when you're getting into it. But it also plays into kind of the next step, right? So, as you come here, you're going to see a couple different sections here, right? You'll have your chart, right? And again, if you switch between these markets, you'll find the different pairs, right? Down here, you'll find all your trades. Once we start making some trades, you'll see your active trades, your previous orders, your history, that kind of thing, right? And then over here is on this side here is where you're going to actually make your trades, right? So remember I said that everything's back in SDI, right? So that's basically what you need to use in order to open a position, right? So, before you get here, you're going to have to go to Sparkswap here, buy yourself some SDI, and make sure you have some SDI in your wallet, right? And then real simply, there's really only 2 ways to go, right? You're either betting that the market's going up, or you think the market's going to go down, right? So up is long, down is short, right? Pretty simple. Then the next kind of level down, you're going to see these couple different things: market, limit, stop. Again, 95% of you will probably just use the market orders, right? This just means you're gonna take the price, whatever the market's at right now, right? So, let's say I think Bitcoin's going to go up right now. The price is 70,314, right? And you'll see that down here, right? This is your execution price, right? And if I wanted to place this, I would just purchase this at the market price, right? If you want to, if you're maybe a more advanced trader, let's say you want to purchase this, you want to open this long position, not here, but maybe down here where there's support, right? So here's let's say at 69,800, right? You can open up a limit order, right? Limit long. So this means if I set my limit long down here at 69,800, let's say, you can just alter the price here, 69,800, right? And that'll open the position up for you if the market comes down to hit your bid, right? And you can play around with this. It works the opposite way on the shorts, right? So again, you can always just do a market order and you'll sell. You're essentially selling here at the market price, or you can set a limit order if you think it's maybe going to go up again to 70,900 here, and then it'll open that position short at the top right there. But for this example, let's just use the market order. We'll keep it simple, and I'll come back to the stop actually in a second. The stop is just some protection to get you out of the market. But to be quite honest, there's easier ways to do it once the trade's open, and even in the process of making the trade. So we'll just walk through some of these steps first. For the beta phase, there is a minimum order size of $500. This is for a number of reasons, right? We don't necessarily want big whales coming in and doing really low leverage to try to just kind of drain the market before we have more participants, which levels out the risk a little bit. But when I say 500 is the minimum open price, it's actually not quite as bad as you think, right? So let's say I have $10, right? This is my $10. My $10 in SDI I have queued up to buy. Now I won't be able to open this with $10, right? Actually, I can go along. I won't be able to open this with $10, but if I use $10 at 50 times leverage, right? That gives me my $500 to open the trade, right? Now you can always play with those numbers, right? Let's say you have 50, you want to put $50 of collateral up. That means you can go all the way down to 10x and still have that same 500 minimum, right? So let's say we're maybe in between somewhere here. Let's say we want to degen 30x levered at $20. Let's say, right? Now our only downside, right, is we're risking our $20, right? But what we're opening is this position that's worth $600 down here, right? So let's say I want to open this. I think the market's going to go up, right? So I'm opening long at the market price. So I'm going to get this market price. Again, it's labeled down here, and again down here, this will be a kind of an overview of your whole order that you're placing, and you just kind of go through the steps. So again, I'm risking $20 on this trade at 30 times leverage, right, which gets me my $600 of position size. Yeah. Again, this is going to be filled out for you. If it's a market trade, if it's a limit, you'll have to fill it out yourself, right? You can adjust the slippage, but it's usually not too bad. 1% is good default. And then here you can kind of set you can set your stop losses and take profit actually. So because I'm going long, right? So I'm saying at I'm gonna buy this right now at 70,300 ish, right? But let's say I don't want to lose my whole 20,000, right? So worst case scenario, if I go long right now, down here you'll see this liquidation price, right? So what this is saying is at 68,225, right? If it doesn't go up and it goes down instead, down here at 68,225, right there somewhere, that's the point at which my entire $20 is going to be gone, right? At that point, I've gone through my collateral and you're liquidated, meaning you don't have any more funds, right? So essentially what a stop loss is it just protects you from that downside risk, right? So let's say right here is a clear support line, right? So let's see here. So you can put a price in or just use the percentages, right? So let's say I want to go long, right? So I think it's going to go up this way, but I think if it goes past 69,400, let's say, right, I think it's just going to keep going down and I'm going to lose all my money, right? So you set a stop loss just to protect yourself from further downside risk, right? If I'm right that it's going to go up, that's all the better. But if I'm wrong, I'm only going to lose a portion of my money, not the entire position, right? And lastly, all you want to do is set a take profit, right? So, you know, at again, you can use these percentages at, you know, 50%, your 50% profit, 100%, right? You could set a certain price where you think, you know, maybe at 73,000 here, it's going to hit resistance, and then it's going to come back down. So I want to take my profit there, right? And again, once you set all these numbers, again, it's really not. It sounds a little bit complex when you're going through it one by one, but realistically, just to decide how much money you want to spend, you know, what your leverage is going to be like, you know, potentially set a stop loss. You can always just default to none if you'd like, and then all you have to do is open the position up, submit the order just like you normally would. And we'll see if Pulse Gas is participating with us today. There we go. Went through. And in just a minute here, you should see your trade pop up down below. Okay, so as you can see, we opened up a long position, right, on BTC. Okay. And again, you can kind of click all these. These are all clickable items, right? This one in particular, I'll go over in a second, is helpful. But just to kind of go through it again, you know, we opened up a long position on Bitcoin. We used 30 times leverage, right? With $19.03 collateral after our initial fees, right? Gives us our open price, gives us our current price, right? And then, you know, over here you'll see your basically up or down, right? Your net P&L. And then again here, this is maybe the most important one, is this is where you can adjust all of the functions from your stop loss and take profit, right? So if you wanted to, you know, let's say you're already in profit, right? It's gone up to 72,000, right? But you don't want to lose money anymore. You can always adjust your stop losses, things like that. These are really cool features that you would find on a centralized exchange, but again, all fully decentralized. You know, so you can, you know, make those adjustments by yourself on chain. And then the last thing here, again, so if you just left this position, right? Because we set stop losses and take profit, at some point this trade is just going to execute, right? You're either going to make money or at some point you'll get stopped out, right? However, if you do come back here and, you know, maybe you just had enough, you're up a little bit, you want to cash out, or you're losing, you don't want to be in the position anymore, you can always real quickly just come here, this little close button. This will go ahead and close the trade out for you at whatever the market price is. And once it's closed, you'll be able to come see it in your history tab here, right? So this is where you'll see all the previous trades that you made. You can keep track of them, right? And then this last tab here is for open orders, right? So again, this is if you wanted to do like a limit order, right? So let's go ahead and try to limit order so you guys can see that as well. So again, let's say we want to do $20 at what was my 30x leverage. That same trade, right? But let's say this time I do want to buy it down here. I want to buy it at 69, 900, let's say, right? So we just adjust our price, 69. Oops, what happened to my cursor? 69,900, right? And again, we can set a stop loss at let's say 69 even, just to be safe. Oops, 1,000. Yep. Okay. And you know, we can do take profit at 100%, right? So once we double our money, we want to just cash out, right? And again, it's always helpful to check check the overview down here, right? So again, I'm going to see, I'm going to hopefully, if this comes down to my trigger price, right? Hopefully, I'm going to be able to buy at a price of 69,928, right? is going to be a position size again of 6,000. I'm sorry, 600. Pardon my extra zero there. It'll even give you your fees, your potential liquidation price, right? Which again we won't be getting to, because if it gets to 69,000, we'll be cashed out before then anyway. But if I wanted to go ahead and push this through, now, unlike the last example, when we executed the trade, it just came up right into our active trades tab here. This one, once it's done processing, give it a little extra gas here. Oh, there we go. Never mind. So you'll see this one. Close that out. So this one's an open limit order. It's waiting, right? And you can always come back here. It will stay open until you close it. Same way you can, if you decide that you don't want to take this trade anymore, you can always go ahead and just close it here with the little close icon. And again, once this trade does trigger, right? So if the price does come down to 69, what did I do? 69,900 here, right? Once it does execute, it will automatically show up in your open trades, and then just repeat the same process as before. A pretty easy overview.
Amazing. Yeah, sorry, can you hear me?
Are you muted, AJ?
Yep, you there, Jake? Can you hear me now? All right, we're good, man. Yeah, so yeah, no, amazing overview. I think that was short and sweet. Again, we're not here to give financial advice. We're not here to comment on how to trade. We're here to provide the tools so that you can do it and take advantage. And again, the major benefit is that you can trade without having to leave Pulse. Again, most of these leverage trading platforms, like Jake had mentioned earlier, are centralized entities, which you have to bridge out. You lose, money bridging in terms of fees. It takes a while, and then you have to come back. You may, miss price appreciation of Pulse or Spark while you're doing that. So this just makes it much easier for everybody to stay on Pulse, and that's a great product market fit for Pulse Chain as a whole. And again, Jake mentioned this earlier, but with our collateralization model, it allows a lot more flexibility. Again, most centralized exchanges have to have actual collateral. Whether they have that collateral or not is a different story. But in terms of risk, I mean, the platform automatically manages that, where we would never allow more open trades than what the liquidity pool can sustain. So you would never have to worry about, again, like a centralized protocol that would literally pause trading or automatically liquidate people. That will never happen in this sort of a decentralized platform. So, yeah, I think that, again, was a great overview. LA, was there anything specifically you wanted Jake to cover while he's here, or some feedback or questions that we've been
Yeah.
getting? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a great overview. Thanks, Jake. One thing that's coming to mind is, just for those that are curious, do you mind going over what type of fees are involved and how the protocol actually is earning money from this that is then going to help out with Sparkler and whatnot?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a number of different fees, and again, they're all you'll see them here if you hover over some of this stuff, and you can kind of see them down here. Oops, this needs to be linked to our docs, which will be coming very soon. But essentially, there's two kind of revenue streams for the protocol, right? One is the SLP, right? This is the money that's backing the trades, right? So essentially, a small part of the fees go in here just to make sure we're over collateralized. But you can kind of think of the SLP as like that's the house, right? So as people are trading, right, they're borrowing from to and from this house account, right? They're borrowing, like, if I'm opening up if I use $10 and I open up 50 times leverage, right? Essentially, your position size is $500. You're making the equivalent bet essentially of a $500 purchase order, right? And because of that, what you're doing is you're essentially borrowing the other $490 that you don't maybe have, right? Or that you don't want to spend yourself, right? So if you think about that, so basically it's borrowing lending inside of this commingled with this, let's say with this trading pool, right? Now, if a trade, if the trader wins or loses, right, that comes out of the pool, right? So you can think of the SLP again like the house, right? So if the overall winnings are losses for traders, the SLP makes money. If the overall traders are winning more than they're losing, that's taking money out of the SLP, right? Again, we're fully the whole SLP is all protocol and liquidity, right? So at the moment, it's going to be all internal funds. At some point, we may open that up depending on the volume. If we need more liquidity, we can potentially open that up, and there is an opportunity down the road for individuals to deposit their SDI as well in order to share in some of that revenue. But at the moment, all that revenue generated is going to the protocol. And then in addition to that, there's actually a number of different fees. Just the first couple of weeks that we've been in beta, the perpetuals has made almost $3,200, right? Again, and to kind of put this in perspective, looks like traders are actually down quite a little bit, right? So net gains of about $10,000 over the last couple weeks, which all kind of come back to feed the sparkler and the protocol as a whole, right? I guess let me break down some of these fees for you a little bit, just so you get the idea. The couple main ones is there's a small fee every time you open a position or close a position, right? That's like similar to like a swap fee, right? It's very small. It's just something to place the trade, right? Now the primary fee is this borrowing rate, right? So if you remember, like I said, if you're again say putting $10 of collateral at 50x leverage, right? You only really are putting up $10 to lose, right? But you're opening a position that's worth 500 here, right? So essentially, for the protocol to lend you that money, there is an ongoing lending rate, right? And one, of course, that does go back again to support the protocol, support the sparkler, and all that good stuff. But it's also kind of a fail-safe for us as well to protect the SLP, to protect the protocol as a whole, so that you can't get guys like to just have big bags that put very low leverage on that just want to try to like ride a bull run, right? Because at some point, if you just leave it for forever, you'll just kind of just lose a lot of that initial collateral in fees.
Awesome. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. I think that was all the questions I had. We're going to talk a little bit more about sparkler payouts as well in the Q&A section. But just so everybody's aware, I mean, obviously sparkler, and we've said this many, many times, that sparkler is calculated in real yield. And especially in, this particular protocol, the Perps, that was not on our original roadmap. And we have to really build the liquidity before we can start, distributing the sparkler rewards full force. It's already starting, but I think people maybe, once we launch Perps, we're expecting sparkler to explode. And remember that this is a long game and that we are, continually feeding the protocol for even more growth and more payouts in the long term. So again, I'll talk more about that in the Q&A. I just want to mention it here. But the SLP is super healthy. And, like Jake said, the whole idea is that we really want, especially in the beginning, we want it to be protocol-owned liquidity, or POL, in SLP, because that means we as a protocol are getting all of the fees. And again, that goes to supporting Sparkler in the long term. So all that is all super healthy. Again, we just gotta we gotta walk before we can run. So once we fully update all of our docs, we move out of beta, we add more pairs, we start the marketing train. I mean, the volume to Sparkler could be absolutely insane. So, all right, I just want to mention that again. I don't know, LA or Jake, if you want to comment on that, but
Yeah, I'll just also say to your point of building, building from the ground up and really getting a strong base. Worth noting that not a single red cent has come out of that SLP
sure.
or the fees even. Protocol itself, you guys, our team, no one's taking a cut on that because we all have a kind of singular mission to really build POL as much as possible, because in the long run, it's really gonna again, look. I mean, if you just look at the stats, half them. If we would have been open up to the whole community already, we would have lost. Or not lost, but we would have made half as much, right? So as much as we can, keep adding to POL instead of taking profits or passing back, it's going to be very healthy for us in the long, where we can kind of use that to not only open up more open interest and allow larger volume, bigger position sizes. But we can also bring this to other chains and continue that same success there.
100%. Yeah. Awesome.
One more question here, Jake,
Yep.
for you. Is there an
Sure.
option to move stop loss to entry after a certain percentage is hit?
Yeah. Again, let me. So this one's not open right now. Let me close this here. I can show you. I probably didn't even have to do that, but okay. So let me just open up a new one. Let's just say this time I want to open a, let's say I want to do a short here for argument's sake. And again, I want to do a market order. I just want to take the market price right here at 70,000, 350 or whatever. But let's say, let's say I don't have any stop loss right now, or maybe I do have 20% stop loss. I go ahead and open this up. A second, let me boost the gas on that close. Okay, there we go. See if that went through. There we go. Both are through. Give it a second here. It should pop up any minute. Okay, so to answer your question, right? So what you're saying is, so this is where, and actually too, this is a kind of a good use case for one more little demonstration here. So again, you'll see this chart. This is just our TradingView chart, right? TradingView does all the charts for any charting platform you've ever seen. Deck Screener or Dex
Jake,
Tools.
real
Everyone
quick,
uses.
sorry to interrupt you, bro. Show them how to get those tools real quick because that's not default. Just the gear. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is actually a little pro tip here. Sorry about that. I think if you do come to when you come to the site, you'll probably just see something like this, right? And this is going to give you a 15-minute chart. Kind of bare bones. Gives you a little more space to view it, right? But if you are a little more advanced or you want to play around, or even if you're just starting off learning, you can go ahead and check off some of these boxes. This will show you your recent trades, right? Other people's trades that have gone that they've opened, as well as give you some of these tools here for the charts. Personally, I don't really need to see other people's trades, so I like to keep the full chart open, right? But this is a good kind of benchmark, right? So like what I would do, as a trader, what I would do is, so I know that I open this, well, I would probably do some of my own analysis here first, right? And I'm, you'd pick your spots where you want to go open a long or short position, right? for argument's sake, you know, we opened this short position at 70,315, right? So I can use my little charting tools here to just draw a line. Maybe that's where. So I know where it's open, you know. And let's say my stop loss. Right now, my stop loss here is at 76.48, right? So, oops, that's probably not right, but I can open a different one, and we can maybe change the color so you guys remember, right? The red is going to be my stop, right? Okay, and this was at 76.48. 70. Ooh, that's pretty close. Okay, maybe open that up a little bit. Okay, so I know that my stop is going to be somewhere in here, right? Look, I'm already up right now, so now I can kind of judge where I'm at, right? So this blue one was where I opened at, right? And as soon as I know it's below that blue line, now I know I'm in profit, right? I also know that my stop is going to be up here, right? But the question is, now that I've opened the trade, can I move this stop loss, right? So let's say we're doing really well, and all of a sudden, you know, this comes down here, and we're in profit down here, right? Let's say the new trade is down this way. If I want to move my stop loss now, so once it gets below a certain point, right, we maybe don't want to lose money, right? So let's say we want to. Oops, I'm still on this tool. Hang on. Let's say doing too much over here. Let's say I want to move my. Stop that. Here we go. Let's say I want to move my stop loss, right? You know, down here somewhere, assuming that the price is further down, right? So all I have to do is go to this little guy here and double check the price, right? So again, we're kind of playing make believe, but let's say it's already at 69.5, right? I want to move my stop loss. You know, maybe not even that far, but maybe you just don't want to, you know, you want to lock your gains in. You just don't want to lose money. You can readjust your stop loss from what it was before 70,600, right, to 70,000, let's say 200, right? And again, all you have to do is come down here, just adjust the price, right? So it was 76. Now we want to make it 72. You would just go ahead and update this. Obviously, it's not going to let you update the stop loss to a price that's below the market, because essentially that would just close you out at the moment. But in fact, maybe we can try something here. Let's do so right now, let's say I want to do it at like 7,300. So now it's open again, right? I can just update the stop loss here. Let me get it in before the market moves again on me. Boost the gas a little bit. I'm still waiting on some gas. There we go. There we go. I just refreshed it to speed it along, but now you'll see my new stop loss is at 70,300, right? So, again, I opened my trade up where I opened at 73.15, right? 73.15. Dang it. Let me open this up a little bit. So, again, I opened at 73.15, close enough, right? And now I just put a stop loss at 73,000. It's right there, very close. But the good news is, because I'm in profit already, not a whole lot. I'm only up 4 cents, 5 cents now. But because I'm in profit, I just move my stop loss below where my entry was right here, right? Now, if it does come back, I'll just get cashed out for basically my entry price.
Perfect. Yeah, no doubt. And we had some other good suggestions a few AMAs ago about being able to update this on the fly. Unfortunately, unlike a centralized exchange, you can't necessarily ladder stake your take profits. I know that's a pretty popular strategy on centralized exchanges. But because again, we would never have access to be able to execute an order for you on your behalf. It is fully decentralized, so you do have to manually go in and update your take profit or your stop loss. However, you could also kind of get around that by opening up multiple trades and multiple price ranges. So again, like Jake showed earlier, if you do limit orders, you can set 3 different limit orders at 3 different prices and still hit your predictions. So, all right, yeah. Again, anything you want to add to that, LA or Jake?
I think that's actually a good strategy too. I mean, you're right. There are some constraints with being decentralized, of course, but that's actually a really good way to do it. Laddering in limits is always a savvy thing to do. You're most of the time you're going to be the market's going to go further than you think, right? So if you want to spend $90, put three separate 30s in at different prices. It's great call.
For sure. Cool. All right, awesome. I think that really, again, we want to make it pretty short and sweet. I know it's still been about 45 minutes, but obviously, leverage trading is a very, very in-depth, segment of the market. So we're not here to really give advice on that. There's a ton of amazing, groups, private groups, and YouTube videos, and everything you could ever want to learn out there. We're simply here to provide the platform. So, all right, awesome. LA, any other perp specific questions? And then I want Jake to cover one more thing before we move on to our normal schedule. Yeah.
No, that was an awesome overview. That was great. I think that will be very beneficial when we clip it as a tutorial for newbies.
Perfect. All right.
Awesome.
Awesome.
I'll say real quick too. TradingView here is this is where all the charting happens, right? But it's also a really great platform for new people that are trying to learn about trading and getting ideas on trading strategies and things like that, right? So honestly, this is one of the places I still go to and I learn from, and it's basically a community of charting enthusiasts that will again, if you go to TradingView.com, I'm sure you guys have all seen the logos on the charts, but probably didn't realize that this is a kind of a much bigger thing, right? So if you go to just TradingView.com and typically you want to go to the crypto section like we all are in, but then you can just search for different ticker symbols and you'll see these ideas here, right? So you can kind of go into different ideas, and it'll actually give you, like here's one on BTC, right? This will actually give you you can basically all these authors or these people that are they're doing technical analysis on the charts will give you their ideas. They'll put it on a chart and show you what the patterns are, why they think so, and then they'll give you a whole description on what why they're making this recommendation. And then, like you just saw, you can actually see, you can play the chart backwards over time to see were they right, were they wrong, right? So I would definitely recommend. It's a really great resource to check out if you're just looking to learn.
Amazing. Yeah, 100%. Very, very good info. And again, you just have to click that little TY icon on the chart to get there. So, yeah, perfect. All right, awesome. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have a paid subscription, but it's free for most. This will probably take you to maybe charts, but just TradingView.com will get you like to the main page.
Awesome. All right, and then one more thing, Jake. I know we had mentioned it last week, I know a lot of our VIPs and both inside and outside of Pulse have jumped over to Ceto Swap. So I just wanted you to go over that really quick. I know the price has been holding extremely well. APRs are holding extremely well. Maybe just give us a quick overview of that really quick, and then any updates on the 404 that we have coming. Again, I don't want to say too much, but they are pretty badass. So yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I've also seen a lot of you guys pop over to the Ceto Swap group. It's great to have all you guys. As you can see on the chart here, Ceto's been holding up, remarkably well. So super bullish for kind of the next phase. Again, feel free to check out the charts or join us. On the web app is CetoSwap.com. APRs are pretty good still. And this week we're actually we're in fact, actually a lot of you guys probably see it anyway. We're launching two things this week. Our the Vault system, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with. You'll be able to just zap right in if you have any interest. You'll probably need to bridge over to Manta. Again, very similar kind of bridge setup that we have with Spark, but same kind of situation. You'll go from BSC or BSC or Arbitrum, and you can bridge over either USDC or USDEX at the moment. The Sparkswap bridge is in development as well. So soon you'll be able to get there with DAI SDAI combinations. And that's coming very soon. But again, this week we're launching the vaults again, so you'll be able to jump right in on some of the action directly through the vaults that you may already be in from your Pulse vaults. But actually, one of the really cool things we're excited about is this. I don't even know if we can call it a ERC 404 anymore. I know that's the kind of the buzzwords, and we did start with the initial code base from the ERC 404 tokens. For those of you that aren't familiar, 404 is a kind of a new token standard that kind of melds together two different standards with essentially it's the combination of tokens and NFTs. And what this does is it gives a liquid market for an NFT, right? So each one token represents one NFT, and it's kind of this whole system where if you get a whole token, you just automatically get your NFT as well. And honestly, we've taken it to a whole different level. We have a really intricate system. We've built on the initial 404 standard. We've added in some really cool encryption kind of stuff and some interesting. I don't know how much we want to give away yet.
Yeah,
but
yeah, we'll leave it there.
Really interesting,
right?
some interesting mechanics that are going to pay back holders. Very similar to how how the Sparkler works, right? So by owning a 404 token, you you'll be able to now earn real yield from the protocol revenue. Things like the vaults and the swap fees and even the perps when we get them over there. So they seem to be very well received so far, and those will be launching this week. So we'll definitely give you guys a shout out and make sure you guys have first crack at getting some of those if anyone's interested.
For sure, 100%. And we mentioned it on another AMA. We went into a little more in depth about this, but really the whole idea, whether it's CetoSwap or L1 Dex or Spark, I mean, we are building out a network of dexes on pretty much all the lesser known layer twos that we can capture market share on, and that is just bullish for the ecosystem overall. And to Jake's point as well, the 404s are really bullish. We absolutely have plans on bringing a 404 token to Pulse and Spark. We just want to kind of we're gonna use the Ceto. I said this in the last one, is funny, as the guinea pig, but I mean, and I don't mean that in a negative way at all. I think the economics of the Ceto 404 are extremely bullish, and you know. There's a lot more gamification as well. Again, I don't want to give away too much, but Sparkler is a little more straightforward. But the Ceto 404 is definitely a little more liquid and a little more gamified. So that's really bullish again in terms of your risk tolerance or investment strategies. And remember, you have to buy the 404 with Ceto as well. So we're going to try to get the Pulse Bridge up, but either way, you can always just go use the Pulse Bridge, go to Arbitrum in US DEX, and then go from Arbitrum to Manta. So it is an additional, hop, so to speak, but you can get funds over that way. And again, that's more volume to our bridge as well. So, all right. Awesome.
You know what?
Go ahead.
To be honest, it's actually you actually make money by doing it. We have an active airdrop campaign going on right now.
Well, there you go.
Where you get you'll still normal rate supply coming to and from Pulse Chain, but anything from Arbitrum or VSC over to Manta, we're basically rebating 2 times any fees that you spend coming over. So bridge a little bit over and get a little bag, and we'll get part of the airdrop.
Perfect. I love it. So, and then you can use your airdrop to get some 404. So it's a winning all around, right, Jake? Yeah. So, oh man. All
Absolutely.
right. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Again, before we let him go, and Jake, feel free to hang out. We may have some questions at the end. I know you're super busy too, but LA, anything in terms of that we would like to hear directly from Jake about in terms of questions or updates?
There's a question in the YouTube comments. Is CetoSwap competing with Sparkswap? I think you guys obviously kind of just inadvertently answered that, but if you want to answer it directly.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I mean, let me, because Jake can talk a lot more technical, but just the high level overview. I mean, and listen to our AMA last week for a little bit more in-depth coverage. But the whole idea is that we're building again, we say it a lot, but the mothership, and that means that we have a bunch of protocols that actually end up feeding each other, and this is going to be incredibly important in terms of L1 DEX as well, because the whole idea is that we want to have our businesses, so to speak, established and liquidity provided on every chain that we will eventually be interoperable with L1 DEX. And and even on a much simpler level, not even taking into account that we become our own partner basically, and we keep all the fees rather than having to share it with another outside DEX. But even more importantly than that, all of these little L2s that we're able to pop up on and get market share, that is absolutely no way competing. If anything, it's actually, making all the individual chains and projects that much stronger than if they were just, operating on their own. So, yeah, go ahead, Jake. I'm sure you can add to that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's the old adage, apes stronger together, right? Like,
for sure,
it goes the same. It goes the same for project owners too. Obviously, even our individual products aside, EMP and DexFi, obviously we just have one big melting pot at this point, guys. All the fees and swaps and volume are both of our stable coins. Even the tech, obviously, everything kind of plays back and forth with each other. Having bridges between all these different places, and like AJ mentioned, testing out the technology and In fact, honestly, a real easy example, quick example is, we've made several updates, not only to the 404 stuff that we'll bring back to Spark, but even just like the core technology of the bridges. We'll be getting an upgrade, some new UI type of stuff that we've kind of tackled with this new exchange. So it all, like I said, it all kind of comes back to, feed the beast. And, there's, of course, we don't encourage any, we're not, by all means, we definitely are not saying, leave one project for the other. But the fact is, most people kind of have funds on different places. And, between the group of us, melting our communities and stuff together, I think it's just, it just has a positive effect, overall on the long-term success.
Yeah, no doubt. And you made a really great point there, Jake. I mean, obviously, we never, promote leaving a protocol that's paying, regardless of however much it's paying or not. It's about investing in your investment and really establishing roots on all of our projects, and that, again, you can rest assured that, we're not going anywhere. We're going to continue to build, and, you can continue to parlay your profits into every opportunity that you think is a good fit for you. And, eventually we'll have this, this spider web of all these projects feeding into each other. And then that is when the real profit generating machine just starts cranking out rewards to everybody. Again, EMP Fusion, Sparkler, Ceto 404, DexFi, GDEX, I mean, you name it. I mean, right now it's build mode, and then it will be profit mode for sure.
Yeah. Well, also too, on a couple different levels, even just for the marketing sake and getting the word out right, like, having volume is crucial for any, exchange or any platform, period, right? So like something like the Perps, which, we're joined at the hip now on, we want to be able to put these perpetuals on as many chains as we can, right? So, being able to get the word out and, accessing not only Pulse chain liquidity, but also liquidity on, Manta and Arbitrum and anywhere else, that's going to have a positive effect overall. And then also too, again, it's, I think, looking at it from the perspective of, diversification of assets rather than, chasing APRs or things like that.
For sure.
Again, I still have 100% of my bag on Pulse. I'm still stacking up my Spark ETFs because I want the long-term value of the Spark ecosystem and, PLS and some of those tokens, right? But having the diversification, because I also am bullish on Manta and TIA and, ETH and some of these other tokens that are offered there. It's just a nice way to diversify your portfolio.
Yeah, I could not agree more. Again, we always preach, healthy investment strategies, and we never give financial advice, but the idea is that if anything, you get rid of the the tokens that aren't producing, but you very rarely ever leave your core positions. And again, that's how long-term wealth is built. So, all right, awesome. I think that's it then for this. Again, Jake, really appreciate you being here. If you can hang out for a while, maybe, or I know, like I said, I know you have a lot going on, but we may have some Q&A at the end. But we'll go ahead and get back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, man. Thank you, brother. All right.
All
right. Talk soon. All right. While I do that, LA, is there anything you want to go over? Or again, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We can promote that, right? Go ahead, LA.
Absolutely, yes. Please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. And we are going to now move on to our regularly scheduled programming.
All right. Awesome. Can you guys hear me now? Oh.
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. Right on. All right. You want me to go ahead and start, LA? I'm sorry, I didn't know if I cut you off.
Mm-hmm. Yep, go for it.
All right. So, Sparkswap, again, we touched on Perps, but now we're going to more specifics today on some Sparkswap updates. Again, I know there's been some chatter in the community and on Pulse overall we continue to see some infighting with Pulse and Richard and people that may not have a long-term vision on Pulse. I think unfortunately it was all kind of spearheaded with the most recent announcements on Hex. A lot of people felt slighted about that, and this is the typical banter and FUD and conviction or lack thereof, rather, that you see with infant projects. And obviously, going on a year now of Pulse, it's been 2 years since Sacrifice, but again, that interim time really doesn't count. Since the chain has been live, there has been a lot of volatility, but nothing that is alarming. And if anything, I'm as bullish as ever on PLS because typically when you start seeing this sort of banter and people giving up, it's referred to as complete capitulation. When that starts happening, that is a really great sign of the bottom. And we saw the same sort of banter and drama happen after the SEC indictment, and we're up substantially from even then. So again, our faith in Pulse, our faith in Spark has not changed whatsoever. Obviously, it sucks to see the price go down. And the number one factor in that is that there has been more selling than buying, and the silver lining is that is an amazing opportunity. So again, I know a lot of you have been stacking up positions in Sparkler. As the price of Spark goes down, that gives way more opportunity to build a larger position in Sparkler. And with Spark being at a discount, PLS is also still low. You get a lot more shares in Sparkler for the same amount. And so again, it's about focusing on the long term of yield and rather than dumping Spark right now at a reduced price, you put it in Sparkler. It may take you 6 or 9 or even a year to ROI, but then you have the next 9 years as we continue to build out and generate revenue of earning way more than you would have ever earned by just selling Spark outright. So, LA, do you want to kind of elaborate on that a little bit, or go ahead?
Yeah, I agree. Right now, there's literally never been a better time to get into Sparkler. I did see some chatter on that in our group the other day. I think it's super easy to watch the charts. And I think if you're posting charts in our group when we're down, you're absolutely missing the mark. The opportunity to purchase when we're down, and obviously none of this is a suggestion of what you should do, and it's none of it is advice, but it's just obvious. When the price is down, you have the opportunity to get a lot more shares for a lot less dollars, and that means you're able to build up your ownership percentage in the Sparkler a lot quicker and build your position a lot quicker. And whereas a lot of other people might give in to basic human psychology, which is to back off or to be timid or scared when they see red on the chart, if you rev up your engine and do the exact opposite, those are the times when you have the opportunity to actually get way ahead of the masses and build your position at a way accelerated pace, because you can get much more for way less. Or if you were planning to spend a particular amount, you just get many more shares. And so whereas you may get diluted in Sparkler in a regular situation where everyone's following the same strategy and the price stays pretty much the same for months on end, this is one of those opportunities where you have the chance to get ahead because a lot of people may back off temporarily. And so again, it's not advice, but it is just pretty blatantly obvious that these are the opportunities when certain people take action, they get ahead way quicker than everyone else.
Yeah, no, great stuff, LA. And again, I want to reiterate some other things. We have said all along, and we will continue to have this in mind, and that is getting off of the Spark inflation at some point. We have said that 100% that will happen. We can't really say when because we can't predict the future, and it's really based on volume and fees. So the whole idea is that the protocol grows enough with the growth of Pulse and the growth of our market share that we are able to transition away from the inflation and work on more of a real yield model where there is enough fees and revenue to go around to not only feed Sparkler and feed Fusion, but also have enough left over to actually reward LP providers in a portion of the actual fees that that LP generates. And so all of that is still 100% what's going to happen. I mean, it's not going to be next week. It's probably not going to be next month, but it will be, hopefully sooner than later. And once that happens, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because once we get rid of the inflation of Spark altogether, that means that nobody can earn a larger position in Sparkler just by farming. It means they actually have to buy Spark off the market, and it becomes non-dilutive in Sparkler. And that's really important because those of you that have been building your position in Sparkler, now nobody will ever be able to buy that position more cheaply. Again, granted that the Spark price goes up, but all the revenue, again, remember, it is buying pressure on Spark and PLS. So in order to reward those of you in Sparkler, we first buy half Spark and half PLS. So that is a market buy off the open market, which, if there was no volume, regardless of buying and selling, that alone would push the price of Spark up over time. So there's a ton of metrics, and I think people get a little bit antsy. They want results now, but we said all along that this is the long-term game, and everything we do is in uh, the the vein of being as transparent as humanly possible, and that again has never wavered. I mean, you can look on all the on-chain data. We're in build mode, not necessarily cash out mode. So all of this will happen, and obviously it is hard for Spark to compete with PLS, but because of our deep liquidity, we are essentially liquidity bonded to Pulse. So when Pulse goes up, again, there is some variables there because if there's more selling than buying, then obviously it's hard to keep up. But all things equal, the deep liquidity of Spark PLS drags the price of Spark up with it, and that has again not changed. Even now, with Pulse being down a little bit, it's not quite as much in terms of dollar value, but we're still talking what over $2 million in liquidity between Spark PLS and Spark SDI. So again, I just want to comment on a lot of the economics as we continue building out. And if you've been involved in crypto as long as I have, things don't always go up and to the right forever. I mean, obviously, on a short time frame. Over the long run, absolutely. And once we start generating more yield, we get rid of inflation. Again, I would never say that we're going to go to the moon, but all of those factors are very important with healthy price appreciation. And above all, what we said from literally day one, it's not necessarily about price appreciation anyway. It's about the yield that the protocol generates. So, and again, Sparkler is generating real yield regardless of, none of the inflation goes to Sparkler at all. All the payouts are, real yield in terms of what the protocol generates. So, and we're building like crazy. The Perps platform again has been a major success, and we haven't even started yet. We have the 2 additional bridges for Manta and X1. So all of these things are bringing additional volume, fees, revenue, and again, will be rewarded through Sparkler. And we even have some really unique ideas of incorporating a Sparkler leaderboard eventually as well. We will have a full redesign of the Sparkswap website, and we'll be able to add a lot more graphs and data and metrics to the site overall. And so those are some really cool things that we have on the roadmap as well. But all right, LA, anything you want to add to that? Again, I feel like I am rambling a little bit, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and just to add to that, when we do launch the full Perps platform, and when we are launching the bridge to Manta and the SwapX bridge to X1, every single one of these comes along with a huge marketing push. And because they are all involving partner protocols, Dex Finance, and this amazing team that's involved with SwapX, all of these give us the ability to have extended reach when it comes to marketing, because it's exposing us to all of these different communities: the SwapX community, the CetoSwap community, the DexFi community, and then all of their teams, helping us to expand our influencer network and who we're reaching out to and who we have the ability to get onto AMAs with. And just because an AMA starts out about CetoSwap, you bet your ass we're getting on there and talking about Sparkswap and the bridge and how it connects to Sparkswap. But we're giving an amazing background on Sparkswap and EMP and the team and all that stuff, and it all comes back to the mothership and the core ecosystem. And so all of these are different marketing opportunities to bring in new users, and we're really focusing right now on education, so bringing in really educated users so that they take good care of our protocol.
I love it. Absolutely. All right. I think that is everything that needs to be said. Again, I know we have some questions too, but let's wait until the end. I don't see anything too imperative right now. But all right. And again, I'm trying to move through it a little bit. It's to not have a 2.5 hour AMA. So, all right. Anything else you want to add to Sparkswap section before we move on? Go ahead, LA.
No, go for it.
All right, so one more quick update, and that is a brand new staking protocol by ERS. So Eternal Reflections, we've had them on the channel a few times now. Please go back and listen to some of the older AMAs. But their original token, ERS, it supports Spark and EMP, as well as some of our other partner tokens, like Glass as well. And we highlighted them a few weeks ago with their ROI platform. But as of yesterday, they have now released their staking platform. So if you go to eternal-reflections.xyz, that is the official link. We'll post it in all of our socials. You can actually stake your Spark, EMP, Glass, a lot of the tokens that all of you may already have, and then you get a high reward in the Abyss token. So, and Abyss is a deflationary, low supply reward token that already, just in the first few days of their launch, has burnt about 15% of the overall supply. So, and if that wasn't good enough, Abyss also reflects Spark, EMP, ETH, and Glass. So just by, again, those that don't know, reflect tokens take a fairly high buy and sell tax, but that tax is used to buy and distribute other assets. So just by holding that token, you get other tokens for holding it. So again, not financial advice, just highlighting a really great protocol and a team that we have a relationship with, that is building out products to support our ecosystem. So that's really bullish. Again, the more use case even outside of our own protocols for Spark, EMP, and anything else is just icing on the cake. So for sure. All right. Anything else with ERS, Ellie?
Nope.
All right, moving on to SwapX. Again, this is one of the things people I think that we're promoting something outside of our ecosystem, but they don't understand how bullish it actually is. And you can again listen to one of our older AMAs, but I'll kind of recap this. SwapX is an amazing protocol that is being developed for the X1 blockchain, which is the new L2 for OKX. Um, and the whole beautiful part of this is that we're able to garner a real partnership without actually having to build an entirely new protocol and start from scratch all over again. And the team is extremely well known. They are incredibly talented. Again, LA can comment too about how professional they are. I know, we joke all the time that nobody runs protocols like we do, but SwapX has been amazing. And we had a killer AMA with them. I was honored to be the first AMA with BB, who is their lead dev. And we had almost 200 people on that AMA as well. So the whole idea is that we are the bridge partner. This will be yet another bridge. Like we mentioned earlier, we're going to be bridging to Manta with Ceto, and now we're going to be bridging to this new X1 chain as well. And again, the more volume through that bridge, the more fees that we will have as well. And we also are invested into SwapX as a protocol, which will also generate real yield from their fees. So, all right, LA, anything? Again, I can go on a little bit more detail, but anything you want to add before I keep going?
I will have some to add at the end section, but not until you finish the next part.
All right, so with this, like I mentioned, there's still an opportunity to all of you as well. We've been given a whitelist spot that is still open. Unfortunately, all of our all of our guaranteed spots are now spoken for. But it will be a first come, first served on launch date for the pre-sale, but you have to have signed up ahead of time under our whitelist. And we will post the link, I think LA did right now, perfect. That has all the relevant info, but the long story short is just it's imperative that you add me, so AJ EMP Spark, as a referee so that we get credit. So, all right, Ella, you want to elaborate? Go ahead.
Yes. The one thing I want to add is please do not fill out the form multiple times, choosing multiple influencers. The team shared with us that some people are doing that to try and guarantee they get a spot. That is absolutely not the right way to go about it. And in fact, doing that will actually get you removed altogether. So please only fill out the form one time. And if you do want to be on our list, choose AJ/EMP Spark, and then you will be on our whitelist. But do not choose multiple people and fill out the form multiple times. That's an absolute no-go.
Perfect. Yeah, and again, we have already secured the guaranteed spot, so don't respond to any scammers or anything else like that. There will be, again, the demand is extremely high right now, so I don't think that the pre-sale will last more than a couple of minutes. However, as long as you're ready to push the buttons on pre-sale date, which again has not been announced, we will have all the relevant info on that when ready. It will be taking place on BSC. Again, even though the chain is a new chain, the pre-sale raise is on BSC network. So get ready over there, and you will need to have Ethereum, so on BSC. So just like you have ETH for EMP, our main LP token, the collateralized version of ETH on BSC, make sure that you have have ETH over there as well. But yeah, we'll give all those all the dates and times. But as long as you fill out the form and you again choose AJ EMP Spark as the referee or influencer, you should be good to go. And they even have a tool on their website so you can check that your wallet has been registered on the form. And then again, just be ready within that first 1 minute to buy your NFTs. So, all right, LA, any other news from the
We
team?
don't have we don't have a set date yet, but as soon as we do, we will be pinning it in all of our groups so that you guys have at least a few days notice and you'll be able to get your ETH ready on BSC and be all prepared for the sale ahead of time.
Perfect. All right, LA, if you don't mind, can you go through the EMP updates really quick? I got to mute myself for 1 second. Go ahead.
No problem. So I did want to address something that was being discussed in our groups over the weekend, and that is the zappers on the EMP site. So we have discussed this a few times over the past couple months, but I just want to remind everyone because we haven't discussed it recently. The zappers on the EMP site are intentionally disabled at the moment. They will remain that way until Fusion launches. Please do not, under any circumstance, use the legacy site. The legacy site was our original site that we used way back 2 years ago when EMP first launched. And then there was a massive UI upgrade and we stopped using that site. And there have been multiple migrations of the tokens since we launched that new UI, and the code on the original site has not been updated because we don't use that site anymore. The only reason that that legacy site has not been taken down is because there were some original farms on the first original site that became inactive, that there's still some people that have never removed their funds from them. And we have to leave the site up because if those people ever come back wanting to finally remove their funds from those inactive farms, they have to be able to access the site to remove them. But if you use that site to use the zapper, you are not going to be zapping in to the current LPs. And you are going to create LPs that are not the LPs that we currently use because we have gone through migrations since that time. And so do not use the legacy site for any reason unless you have funds in those original inactive farms that you need to remove. There's just absolutely no reason to go to the legacy site at any moment except for that one reason. And so if you need to create LPs to deposit into the farms or Detonator or Reactor, and you've never created LPs before, this is an amazing time to learn because adding and removing liquidity is just such an important skill to be able to know how to do when interacting with any DeFi protocol. And so there are some amazing tutorials on YouTube. All you have to do is search how to add liquidity on PancakeSwap or how to remove liquidity on PancakeSwap. And you will have about a dozen tutorials pop up on YouTube. And it's really suggested, if it's not something you're familiar with, to please teach yourself, because beyond EMP, you're really going to need to build that skill in order to interact with other DeFi protocols that may not have a Zap feature integrated into the site. And then the only other thing I will say is it's very important that when you're building EMP ETH LP that you make sure you toggle over to the V2 option and that you're not building it on V3, because then you're not going to end up with the correct LP. We want to make sure it is in V2.
Amazing. I could not have said it better myself. Again, I think, and it's so funny to me because I think it's harder to find the legacy site and then Zap, then it would be just to teach yourself how to create LP. Like LA said, it is a vital skill to have in terms of DeFi. And we're here to help. I mean, again, don't listen to any DMs, scammers are everywhere, but anybody from the community can help you learn how to create LP in the public chat for sure. And the reason that we, again, just to give a little more context, the reason that we ended up disabling the zappers is that, the front running bots and the MEV bots are just running rampant everywhere. And obviously, we've been able to kind of mitigate that with Spark because we run our own bot network for the arbitrage. But on BSC, because there are no fees built into our token, both EMP and eShare, it's very difficult to mitigate the bot attack. So we didn't want people to get front run and get absolutely wrecked by zapping. And so, and we don't want to really take the time to rebuild the zappers because that won't matter in EMP Fusion. So, again, just to give some more background and context as to why we're doing what we're doing. But yeah, I think you went over everything perfectly well, LA, and I think it should be just another rule of advice. Only interact with the websites and the protocols that we are, actively discussing. Like LA said, there's many times that old websites are left up for very specific reasons, but that doesn't mean that you should be interacting with them. And it's also very dangerous unless you know what you're doing. Obviously, every protocol that we built always has the ability to interact with the contracts directly, but you really need to know what you're doing to do that because you can wreck yourself in a heartbeat if you just try to experiment with the contracts without the website unless again you know what you're doing. So those are the two no-nos for today. So all right, and then last but not least, the Sentinel contracts. They were completed last week, and rewards have been resumed. You can check your rewards on the main site. Again, LA, there was a little confusion, but you want to reiterate that really quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a little bit of confusion when I was finding out the instructions before the AMA last week, so I apologize. There were two different batches of rewards that were outstanding, and so apparently there's quite a few rewards that people have not yet collected when it comes to outstanding MDB. So if you have any MDB yet that you haven't collected, that is on the that is on the app site. But all of the regular rewards that were accumulating while we paused are all on the main site in your Sentinel section. So if you had been regularly collecting before the pause, then you don't need to go to the app site at all. You'll just interact on the main site. But if you kind of like weren't around for like 6 months before the pause and you're just kind of coming back after a long hibernation over the winter and you're getting caught up now, then you may need to go to both sites to collect.
Yes, and as far as I know, again, MDB is no longer, well, I know that for sure, but I think their migration period to receive their new token is also passed. So unfortunately, if you are in that camp, you can still unbreak the LP and keep, the eShare side, but the MDB may be useless for you. So please, again, we have no control over that. Please, reach out to them and see if they can help you. But all right, so I think that is all the updates for today. LA, anything else before we get into Q&A?
No, I think we're ready for the questions.
All right, good deal. I see a few on Telegram. I mean, on the YouTube live chat. I don't know where you want to start, but I'll let you go to town.
Yeah, let's start with this one in YouTube. When Spark eventually goes to a deflationary model, how does this change the farms rewarding Spark? Do they discontinue? Just unfamiliar with how this will play out.
Yeah, no, great question. So, again, everything I'm about to say is subject to change. So please just understand we, are moving in a direction, but that direction could have many different paths. But ultimately, I think the plan, as of right this moment, is that we do move to a V3 model where we actually allow you to provide concentrated liquidity on the DEX. And again, you can look at a YouTube video. To learn more about that, what a V3 means. But essentially, it rewards you for providing liquidity with the actual fees that LP generates. So, again, just as an example, you can set the range that you're willing to provide liquidity at, like a certain dollar value of what those assets are worth. And the tighter that range, the more fees you're able to collect for doing so. So the whole idea, again, that's why we can't really predict the date or future on when we can just say what the plans are, but we need to have enough volume that even with the fees being less, because right now we own all the LP, or in other words, we don't own the LP. No, that's fully decentralized. You own the LP, but we own all the fees from the LP. So, and that again supports Sparkler, and eventually Fusion as well. So we just want to make sure that there's enough volume and enough fees that if we do start rewarding in real yield, that it doesn't dilute Sparkler rewards or EMP Fusion or anything else. So, and based on the numbers, that's extremely doable. So again, I don't want people to jump to conclusions that there won't be enough money to go around. I mean, even now, when Pulse starts really gaining momentum, we could be seeing easily $10 million dollar days in terms of volume. So, all right, LA, is that answer?
For sure. All right, here's one you haven't covered in a while that may be good to review. Where does the revenue for Fusion come from?
Yeah, totally. So, for those that, again, just to give a real brief recap, EMP Fusion is the new glorified staking protocol. Again, it's a lot more in depth than that, but we could be here a whole other hour. So, essentially, you are able to stake your EMP. You then receive an NFT that represents your ownership of the protocol, very similar to Sparkler, even. We say EMP Fusion is Sparkler on steroids. Oh, can you hear me, LA? Hey, can you guys hear me now? Testing, 1 2 1 2.
Yep, I got you,
Oh,
buddy.
all right, awesome. We're back. Holy cow. All right, thanks, Jake. Hopefully LA can rejoin. So, all right, sorry guys. We're back. Some technical difficulties. I think the internet went out, but all right, go ahead, LA. Oh, is LA back? Were we? So, all right, I'll pick up where we left off. So, um, the question was, oh, we answered that. We answered the real yield. What were we on? I lost track here. I kind of hopefully LA can jump back in. Oh, Fusion, that's what we were talking about. So, all right, we're waiting on LA. Oh,
Okay, I'm back.
all
I'm
right,
back.
there she
Sorry.
is. All right, awesome. I'm good now. So, I left off on Fusion. Where did people stop hearing me, LA? Do you know?
Oh, did yours die too?
Yeah, I died completely. I think you were okay.
Oh, my.
I think I died.
Okay, no, my internet completely cut out. We have a really bad storm.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go. We're all having issues, I guess. But okay, I think perfect. I think the I'll just
Where
yeah.
does where does the revenue infusion come from? After I asked you that, I had to restart my phone, so I'm not sure where you left off.
Okay, so I just was giving a really quick overview of what Fusion is. So in order to have Fusion successful, again, it's just for those that didn't hear me, I'll go really quick. It's a glorified staking protocol. So you essentially stake your EMP into EMP Fusion. You're then given an NFT that represents your ownership of the protocol, and then that is what determines how much fees you get from our real revenue. And so that means that revenue has to come from somewhere. And with EMP Fusion, there are multiple substantial revenue streams. So EMP Fusion, first of all, is its own revenue stream. So there will be a NFT marketplace that not only are you able to buy and sell your microgrid positions, which is the NFT I was mentioning that represents your ownership. But you're also able to buy and sell batteries, which are other ways of basically taking profit in whatever asset that you would like to receive. And there's also some utility batteries that give special perks or automation as well. So again, that is going to be the major revenue stream. But now part of part of Spark rewards will be funneled through Fusion. Again, swap fees, bridge fees, arbitrage bot fees, perp fees. I mean, you name it. We'll have more info on that in terms of actual percentages as we get closer to Fusion launching. But and then outside revenue. So again, some of the investments that our treasury makes into other protocols, we have a trader trade yield that has been generating yield. We have again partner protocols. SwapX is a great example of what's coming, where we invest into these protocols and they generate yield for us. And again, as we build out Fusion, we hope to have an actual page, and Dex Finance is working on this now, which is what we can kind of piggyback on, where the treasury it will show the revenue that the protocol is generating. And a matter of fact, I don't know, Jake, are you still around, brother? I don't know if he's still here.
Yep, I'm here. What's going on?
Hey man, so can you comment on that really quick? I know you're doing a massive overhaul that in terms of GDEX, which actually shows the revenue that the Treasury is producing, and obviously, we can easily port that over to Fusion as well. But you want to just plug that really quick? I know you guys are working on that, so.
Yeah, of course. In fact, honestly, it's something that we've actually been working on for quite a long time, and we are finally kind of at the home stretch of part of the recent updates, and the reason why we're able to finish now actually is because we've actually already modified and upgraded all of the contracts that we're working with Sparkswap and all the little things in order to make that happen. sometimes the issue is with us is that we're just building so much so fast that it's really tough to keep track of like dozens of these little treasury contracts and get them all together. But again, now that that's all together, by the time we're ready for Fusion to launch, it should be a quick modification to put that all on a single dashboard for everyone to see. In fact, you can kind of already see some of that stuff with the perpetuals that's already kind of built in, and kind of knowing that from the ground up as Fusion's coming out, we're able to kind of plan for that a little bit better. And that's actually one of our specialties is we have a really great like back end guy that does a ton of like data, these huge data systems, and everything's kind of on chain and stored efficiently. So I think you guys should be pretty happy with that.
Totally. Yeah. No, I appreciate you chiming in, Jake. That's exactly what I wanted to convey. I mean, again, everybody, and this is not a criticism, at all, but I think people think that the reporting and it is very easy. But when you have a protocol that has, 50 different treasury contracts, that different fees go to different places, it's a lot to manage, and we're in build mode, and so unfortunately, a lot of that manual reporting gets pushed down the priority list. But now, again, that we have more help, we've again essentially merged with Dex Finance. We get access to all their devs. That those sort of databases are very labor intensive, and so now we can build those out. We it's not a matter of us not trying to be transparent. It's just a matter of making sure that we're able to actually track all the relevant data and do it, without spending, $100,000 to build out the database. Yeah, go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, just to follow up, not only that, it's not only necessarily about tracking it, but at the rate that we're building, things change. Even with just what's it been like maybe 4 to 5 months or so with Sparkswap, like, we've upgraded at least 3 or 4 different contracts, 3 or 4 iterations of like dozens of sets of contracts, right? So, until we get it to the point where it's a complete system and where everyone's happy with it, it doesn't make a lot of sense to wire that all up to a dashboard that's just going to have to be changed and changed and changed. So, but the good news is we're finally pretty much there. So, we're happy to get that going for you guys as well.
Perfect. All right. Awesome. All right. I think that answers that question in terms of where does the yield come from in Fusion. So all right, LA, what's next?
I'd like to add to that too.
Oh yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. I want to mention that they may not be and sorry if you hear my dog panting, she's very scared of the storm. They may not be the hugest sources of income, but we also have a ton of referral, different smaller referral streams like Spritz, like what we're doing right now with SwapX. We have our hardware wallets, we have our YouTube affiliate commission. All of these different avenues also will be flowing into Fusion to support the ecosystem and to bolster the rewards as well. And as we continue to build out more and more of these streams that support Sparkswap, we have more also flowing into Fusion, correct?
Yep, 100%. And again, I mean, that's a great example. There's so many revenue streams that I forget to mention all of them. So yeah, and
building 2 extra bridges means 2 extra bridges full of bridge fees connecting to 2 additional communities, which also connects to more swap fees, which each swap also, there's a percentage of each swap that goes directly to Fusion as well. So connecting to 2 additional communities with all of those swap fees and bridge fees also drives a lot more rewards to Fusion as well. So we're building so much stuff. Also, I don't recall you mentioning L1 Dex either, which is coming pretty soon too. So there's so many sources of revenue for Fusion.
Yeah, absolutely, LA. And that's another really cool part is that, if one of those revenue streams were to go away or not be as lucrative as we had planned or hoped, the fact that we have so many is essentially diversifying the revenue streams as well. So that means the payouts will be extremely consistent, with Fusion once that starts happening. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And just to reiterate what we've said all along, like this was very much part of our plan of why we launched Sparkswap before Fusion. Obviously, we did not plan on it taking this long to launch Fusion, but this is such a good position to be in to launch Fusion that we're going to have all of these revenue streams in place as Fusion launches. I mean, it could not be more ideal. So, okay, we are 2 hours in and we still have a handful of questions. So we're going to do our very best to answer as many of them as possible. And we may push a couple of them till next time, just for the sake of not having this be like a 2.5 hour AMA.
For sure. All right.
Okay. So, thank you for updating the power ups to monthly. Just a suggestion on the power ups. Is it possible to reward from an L2 with wrapped ETH so that when we do not get clobbered in gas fees when trying to claim?
Yes, so the whole pitch with the power-ups is that it gave people on Ethereum exposure to EMP. I mean, we could have easily just created another, Detonator Defender or Sentinel Squadron and had it all on BSC. The fact that the contract and the NFTs themselves live on Ethereum mainnet, there really is no other option at this moment. Now, there could be a very awesome solution. Again, we have to make sure that everything is able to be done. But there could be a situation where we're able to reward holders in a wrapped version on a particular chain through the L1X technology. So that is something that we are going to look into. Again, with their technology, the whole idea is that no matter what chain you own an NFT on, you can receive rewards on any other chain because of that interoperability. So that would definitely be a solution. And obviously, if there's anything we can do to streamline payouts and avoid gas fees, we will 100% be doing that. But yeah, I think that answers.
Okay, awesome. And on that note, I did want to just address something because it was a topic in our group today. I know a lot of you have been anxious for us to make a post, an announcement about L1 Dex and our plans and whatnot. There is an announcement coming very soon. And you can expect that. We don't have any specific details for you on tonight's AMA, but you can expect something very shortly. So watch out for that, and we will provide more details for you very soon. Okay. Here is the next one. Great one from OMC. I have a question about hardware wallets. Assume my private key and secret words are safe. Suppose I click on an unsafe link and perhaps authorize something I should not. How safe does the hardware wallet make me?
Yeah, so just on a high level overview, and again, we need our resident hardware wallet expert, Joe. I know he's on, but I don't know if he's listening. So if you are there, Joe, you can chime in. But on a high level overview, the whole point of having a hardware wallet is that you have to physically approve the transaction. So, even if your wallet was compromised, if you have a hardware wallet attached to it, then, any unauthorized transaction, you just simply would not approve that, and it can't go through. So that is the main benefit. However, there is still a bit of an issue because if that wallet is compromised, in order to be able to use that wallet again, you would eventually have to just migrate all of your assets to a new wallet. So, I don't want it to sound like it doesn't matter if you can have a compromised wallet as long as you have a hardware wallet attached. But it will prevent you from having unauthorized transactions, and then you just have to. It's a pain in the ass. You have to move all your funds to a new uncompromised wallet with your hardware wallet. So everybody should be using a hardware wallet. Period. End of story. So.
So basically, they're not able to do what they would typically do, where they kind of just drain you real quick because they can't do those transactions without you approving them on your hardware wallet.
Correct.
But at the same time, your wallet is still compromised, so you really don't want to use it that way. You really want to migrate your funds to a clean wallet that isn't compromised.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for that information. Okay, we're going to take one more because we are quite far into this, and I think everyone's probably not wanting to be on here much longer. Okay. When Fusion is ready, this is exciting, how do you plan to announce it? Will there be a special AMA, or will it just be announced everywhere in one swoop at a random time of day?
Yeah, so again, we have kind of alluded to this, and everything is subject to change. But as of right now, we will have a whole campaign around EMP Fusion launching as well. So the whole idea, again, just in terms of timeline, is we have a 100% tested, finished, live product ready to roll before we announce anything. Once we have that, and again, there will be some testing that happens simultaneously, but when we say beta testing, we don't mean like actual, rewriting of contracts, that sort of stuff. We just mean simple UI fixes or, maybe adjustments in, percentages or pricing in terms of how much the batteries are. So minor changes. But once we have again the finished product, there will be a 2-week timeline. So we will announce that at least 2 weeks prior that the go live date is X, and then that gives us 2 weeks to promote what Fusion is, get everybody excited, run the AMA train full speed ahead, and then the minute that a date, it'll be a date and a time. The minute that happens, there'll be a 24-hour. Well, it will be multiple days, but the first 24 hours will be the most bonus for early sacrificing. So the idea is that you want to sacrifice all your EMP or EMP LP, or even for those that don't have EMP, we will allow at least a few regular asset sacrifices as well, whether it's USDT or BNB, and then all of that applies to your sacrifice points, and sacrifice points determine the ownership of the protocol that you receive, or again, not to get too complicated, but the microgrid, representing your ownership. So, LA, you want to elaborate on that? Again, I think that's pretty much the timeline, but yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm going to just take it back and answer the question just in the most simple way possible.
All right, perfect.
When we announce it, we very likely will do a little bit of both. When we initially announce it, the date, and give that 2-week lineup, like give you that 2-week notice, we'll very likely put up an announcement and do an AMA. But here's what I want to say. When we do announce the date and give you that warning, it will be everywhere. You will not be able to look anywhere without seeing it. I mean, you won't even be able to close your eyes without seeing it on the back of your eyelids, the announcement. You will see it high and low, left and right, in front of you, in every DeFi place. It will be in all the places, everywhere you look. You won't be able to escape the Fusion announcement. So it will be in every form in every medium imaginable. So when we announce it, it will be everywhere. It will haunt you when you try to escape it.
I love it. Yeah, for sure.
So there will be an announcement. There will be multiple AMAs. There will be all the things. So get excited.
Amazing. Yeah, 100%. I mean, our forte is being able to advertise and get people ready for new products. So, and that, again, that plays into what we mentioned earlier today, on why we're building out, all the sister protocols as well, is that everybody within our reach, whether it's, again, Spark, Manta, L1 Dex, everything that we're doing, will know about EMP Fusion. So, yeah, get ready. And again, not financial advice, but we've been saying all along, now is the time to be building your bags, not necessarily after we announce the actual sacrifice dates. So
Yes, pack those bags.
awesome.
Get ready. All right. Yeah, that's I think that's a good place to end. We are officially 2 hours in. I think that is kind of the bandwidth for most people.
Yeah, no doubt. I know we have a few more questions. We can get to them on Thursday. One of them I can kind of sum up a little bit, and that is in regards to Sparkler and with volume, how does it pay out, and what are the plans moving forward to continue to incentivize Sparkler. And again, I'll answer each of these individually next week, but. The whole idea with Sparkler is a long-term play, and all of the fees that we said would go to Sparkler are going to Sparkler. Perpetuals are something that wasn't on our roadmap, and I said it earlier when Jake was on. We have to use some of those fees to actually build the POL on the Perps platform, as well as going to Sparkler. And obviously, it is our number one priority to funnel all the revenue humanly possible to Sparkler. But it's not a matter of, you know, basically, and I said this earlier, but just to reiterate, we're not in cash out mode right now. We're in build mode right now. And the whole idea is that we're building even additional liquidity and revenue streams within Spark, the Spark ecosystem, to then pay out Sparkler even more in the future. And, we have a ton of incentivization with Sparkler. I mentioned leaderboards. Once we get rid of Spark inflation, that will be a huge boost to Sparkler again. And all of you that have been building positions now will reap the rewards from that because you already have your Spark at reduced prices, and you're locked in. And remember, Sparkler has always been about the yield, and regardless of where Spark is from all-time highs or the Spark PLS ratio, it's about the yield, and that will get better and better as the price of Pulse goes up because the more expensive Pulse is, the more in terms of dollar value the protocol is able to generate. And remember, all of those fees have to buy half Spark and half PLS to reward the actual LP in Sparkler. So there's a lot of things that again are that they're not as simple and as straightforward as they may appear on the surface. But just understand that, the number one goal is utilizing Spark and the Spark ecosystem to feed Sparkler and EMP Fusion exactly as we have stated from day one. So, and there's a lot of other really cool things that, again, people don't really think about. But, yes, it sucks to see the price of Spark go down, but you have to understand, as the price of Spark goes down, that means that the protocol is able to buy back way more Spark in terms of, dollar value, because we're still earning revenue from fees in PLS, ETH, DAI, actual dollar-based assets that can buy more Spark as the price goes down. So there will be a point at which, the buying volume far outweighs the selling volume, because people won't be able to dump their Spark anymore at those levels. So just, we're all here for the long run. I think it's bullish to end on, everything that we are building, and we're not going to stop building. And, additional use case for Spark is very easy to implement. What's hard to implement is the infrastructure that we have already built and are continuing to build now. So, all right, and again, we can answer more questions next week, but I think that covers most of it.
Also, just a reminder of what we kind of touched on last time. We do have certain systems in place to kind of help AJ and I to be as efficient and effective as possible. And so if you do have a certain list of questions ready for us ahead of time, if you want to ensure that your questions do get asked, I always ask the questions in order that they are pasted in the AMA questions. And so if you do have questions that are on your mind ahead of time and not just randomly pop up as we mention certain things on the AMA, please leave them in the appropriate place, which is the AMA questions on Discord. That is the number one way to ensure that they're going to get asked on the AMA and we're not going to have to bump them to the following week. Because if we do have an incredibly long AMA, I am always going to be asking in the order that they were posted in that channel. We will always work hard to get everybody's questions answered, but sometimes we do have incredibly long AMAs. So please help us out by kind of helping with these systems that we have in place to keep things as efficient and effective as possible, guys. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Amazing. All right. Then, yes, I think 2 hours is a good time to wrap it up. Again, super bullish info and announcements today. I know it was a long one, but we will timestamp this, as well as LA. We've still been doing the written recaps too, right? Or yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So again, there's absolutely no excuse for any of you. And again, I don't mean this to be derogatory, but there's no excuse to not know what's going on. We spend a lot of time and effort doing these AMAs and written recaps and timestamps and everything that goes along with it, so that you all are informed and we continue to be, again, as transparent as humanly possible. So we appreciate the support. Please continue to help us share, what we're doing. Obviously, the easiest thing to shill, and we use that word lightly, because we really, again, want you to be respectful in other chats. But the number one thing to shill that is a no-brainer is our bridge. Again, everybody should be posting about the Sparkswap bridge. Because it is the best solution, in terms of fees, speed, and security on Pulse. So if you ever see anybody asking about how to get funds on and off of Pulse, you should absolutely respond with our bridge and the link. So, and again, your personal experience. You don't have to make anything up. Tell them, how fast the bridge takes and what the fees are. I mean, we will beat, again, 99% of all options out there. So, all right, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the way out. LA, any final words before we wrap it up?
You guys are awesome. We love you. Thank you so much for joining us. So damn excited about what is coming. Like, it has never been a better time to be an Emperor / Sparky. I've been getting ready for consensus over the last few days. I got flights booked. AJ and I have our hotels booked. We are psyching up and ready to go to consensus in May. Like we've just gone over, we've got these new bridges and stuff we're building. We're building L1 decks. We have fusion coming. There's just so much exciting stuff on the near horizon. Did you know there's an eclipse tonight? And then there's another one coming in April. That's got to be some good juju. Like, there is just so much. Like, I just feel my heart just like exploding with excitement and just happiness. So we get some good stuff going on here. So it is a good time to be around. And if you're planning on being around for a while, drop in our community chats on Telegram. Let us know what your favorite part about being in this community is. I'd love to hear it. Share with us in our EMP or our Sparkswap chat. Let's hear that tonight. We
Perfect.
would love to. Yeah.
I love it. All right, awesome. Yes, the stars are aligning literally for us. So yeah, and like Ellie said, please, we love to hear your feedback. You know, what makes you excited about our protocols. I'll probably do another one of my fireside chats or announcements later tonight as well. But yeah, things are looking super bullish. You know, even if things may be down in the short term. It's about what we're building for the long term. So, and I don't know if he's still here, but Jake, thanks for hanging out the whole way, man. Any final words from you as well?
Yes, thanks, Jake.
Man, I feel like I need a nap now.
For sure, man.
A long one. Man, absolutely. No, you guys are great. Appreciate all the support, man. We'll continue to build for you guys.
Awesome. Sounds great. All right. So there you have it, everybody. Again, appreciate all of you coming out. Remember, we come to you every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. We will be back with another AMA this coming Thursday. And if we have any additional updates in the meantime, we will do a announcement in all of our socials. So keep an eye out for that. All right. Good night. Good day. See you on Thursday.